Right. After enduring a harrowing 20-hour ordeal in Libya where the Super Eagles were held at the Aqbaq airport, the team finally returned to Nigeria last night. The team landed in Abuja and just this morning, the NFF president, Alhaji Ibrahim Guzo, met with the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar. The Nigeria Football Federation Director of Communications, Dr. Demola Olajire, joins us tonight to recount the Nigerian contingent's barbaric treatment at the hands of the Libyan authorities. Dr. Olajire, thank you so much. It's so good to see you. We were fearing for the worst over the last 24 hours, but thankfully you are back in Nigeria. But for those who don't know, let's hear from the horse's mouth. What exactly transpired? We've been hearing things about the plane was landing, plane was diverted. There was also, just tell us exactly what happened.
Yeah, it's a long story, but I will just, go quickly. We had a landing permit for Benghazi Airport, after we took off from Uyo and then Kano. And just on the approach to the Benghazi airport, our aircraft was diverted to go and land at a very disused facility in Aqbaq. So the pilot, a Tunisian, was even telling the control tower that he was short of fuel, but they did not. They said, no, that is orders from above. So we landed at this facility that we eventually learned it's 5 hours by road from Benghazi. We landed, and then, of course, they were not even scanning machines, at the airport. So to tell you that it's not an airport that is much used, even as a domestic facility, not to talk about an international airport, that the name carried. So we got there, and eventually they used mobile phones to scan our international passport data pages, and we proceeded to ask for the officials of the Libyan Football Federation. Of course, none of them was available. There were no vehicles, placed on standby for the Nigerian team, and calls to the General Secretary of the Libyan Football Federation did not eat any fruits. He kept saying, at first he said in 10 minutes, later I said 2 hours, and later on he said 3 hours. And after that, his phone was no longer reachable. And so we, the NFF leadership, we had with us the president of the NFF, the deputy governor of Edo State, and the general secretary and some other dignitaries. And it was decided that, look, let's just find a way to get vehicles to move out of this place and go to Benghazi. We were able to get some, but we were prevented, from even going outside the airport, which had only one exit, angle. So it became an issue. Everyone became frustrated. There were shouting matches. The players felt frustrated. They got tired. There were no food or drinks, nowhere to even purchase, especially as we were prevented from even leaving the facility. It was like me taking hostage. No network, no Wi-Fi. Everyone was wondering but we were still hoping that one way or the other, maybe the Libyan FF will show up with the vehicles. We did not see any vehicle, and we were there for 20 hours. It was a very harrowing experience. I've never seen anything like that. I've covered football. All these continents of the world. I've been to about 90 countries of the world covering football. I've never seen anything close to it.
Okay,
it was
sorry,
harrowing, it was inhumane, it was cruel, and it was irresponsible on the part of the Libyan FF.
Sorry, Dr. Olajire, you do know, as a matter of fact, that Libya is governed by the Libyan government is split into two, right? There's a government in Benghazi, there's another one in Tripoli as well. Could it be that the Libyan authorities stopped the Nigerian contingent from leaving the airport without security in order to protect them.
Yeah, we didn't even want to a situation whereby we would need to venture, very, very far. All we wanted to do was to be able to get some links, from people who could get us vehicles, and we even, there was an attempt, we sent an advance party, but the official was in Benghazi, at the Benghazi airport, waiting with vehicles, to convey the team to the hotel that were booked. But when the plane was diverted, we realized that, a game was on. We now, make effort to see if we can book hotels, so not very far from the Labrak, but it was not possible because every hotel, they were saying that, look, they have been instructed not to welcome Nigerians. It happened to the airport, the aircraft crew. They also, were not allowed. They were ready to offer the fellow North African, the Tunisian, the captain of the aircraft accommodation, but not the other people in the aircraft who are Nigerians. So, and the captain refused. He refused the offer. Said, look, if you're not going to accommodate all of us, I will not leave the rest of the crew. So they had to return back to the airport and actually slept in the aircraft. It was just unimaginable.
Okay, so Dr. Olajire, the Libyans already are actually even speaking, by the way. The Libyan Federation has actually released a statement. They've condemned Nigeria's decision to withdraw from the scheduled 2025 Africa Cup of Nations match. They said, and they're also threatening to take legal action to protect their national team's interests. Of course, the Super Eagles cited safety concerns after being stranded at that Aqbaq airport for over 20 hours following an unexpected diversion on Sunday. In the statement, the NFF also accused the Nigerian Football Federation of failing to cooperate in organizing the match and causing the confusion that led to that situation. And the statement further followed up on an apology to Libyan football fans, but not to Nigeria, for the confusion and delays in the match arrangements, attributing these issues to the Nigerian Football Federation actions. How do you want to respond to this? Especially that part that said
it's all very funny. It's like you're watching a movie. The guys should they should forget about football administration and go into full-time comedy. Because when you issue statements like this, you do not expect to be taken seriously, especially when we're not talking of the 17th century. We're talking about this age that we are in 2024, and there's digital media, there's new media everywhere, and what you do and what happens is, known to the whole world, in a matter of seconds. So whatever they are saying, it's a big joke. They try to, of course, defend their irresponsible conduct. It does not wash, and I can tell you that, there's nothing to their statements. Whether they want to go to court, whichever court they want to go, we'll be ready to meet them there. But the truth and what we stand by is our statement to CAF. We have had our own complaints to CAF that these guys behaved most irresponsibly. They were inhumane. Their conduct, their acts, and everything they did was not known. It's not known to the game of football, the beautiful game.
Well, in case anybody has been watching, of course, there's another gentleman with us in the studio as well. His name is Olatunde Shokoti. Now, he is a Nigerian who actually lived in Libya for 4 years. He was a sportsman who was in Libya, but I think he was in transit trying to get to Europe, but he eventually found his way back to Nigeria. Olatunde, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Game On. You've lived in Libya for 4 years, right?
Yes.
Were you surprised at all by everything that transpired?
Actually, I'm not surprised at what happened, because I know that's Libya attitude, there's a character, that's the way they do their thing. They don't value human being. They only value bread There's one bread we call Obza.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Wait, let me be clear. You said they value bread
yes.
more than human beings.
Yes.
Maybe the Nigerian contingent should have gone with the
bread. With the bread. Agege bread. Maybe Agege bread. So there's also an argument. There's also people who say that they actually detest sub-Saharan Africans, that they do not respect them, that they don't like them, that they treat them like subhumans. Is this true in your own opinion?
Talking about Libya, I won't lie to you. Libya did not respect anything foreigner. They don't respect.
Wait, is it foreigner or sub-Saharan Africa?
Africans
Yes.
from other parts of the
Except
world.
for North Africans?
Yes.
That's intense. That's really intense. But I
So
don't
maybe that explains why they also showed their love to the Tunisian captain.
I mean,
Exactly.
how could you expect that the captain will leave the rest of his crew?
Yeah.
That's a good captain. They won't.
No.
Captains don't do it.
Yeah. But sorry, I think you had a question for me.
I was going to respond to the Libyan statement and then come to Dr. Olajire, that there was no need for the Libyan Federation to talk about taking this issue to court because CAF had already stepped in and CAF had already referred the matter to their disciplinary committee. So preempting whatever will happen at the disciplinary committee and threatening to take this issue to court doesn't arise. So you just have to wait for CAF. That's the first part of my response to that message from the Libyan Federation that we're going to take the Nigerian Football Federation to CAF. And then, Dr. Olajire, they actually were making plans. I don't know whether they held the match officials hostage. They were actually making plans to conduct
a walkover
formalities for today before the announcement came from.
You know, Tony. When people have a lot of jokes in them, a lot of things come up.
Yeah.
What are you going to walk over? You did not receive the team in your country. You never saw the team.
No
you diverted the team to a different airport, far away, 5 hours away from where they made arrangements for their logistics and accommodation. You refuse to pick their phone calls after telling lies, for about a number of minutes. You never at any time made effort to contact them, and then you are saying that you are going to court, or you want to conduct a walkover. They have a lot of jokes. That's why I say they should just abandon football administration and go straight into comedy. That is where their talent is. The gentleman in the studio has talked about, I don't want to go into, I don't have, as we are talking, I don't have anything against North Africans or Libyans or any other persons. My focus is on the Libyan Football Federation and what they have done, in this. It has no place in football. It has no place in sports, which is meant to foster unity among nations and peoples of the world. They have conducted themselves badly and poorly, and the Nigerian Football Federation, we are very confident that this matter will be resolved in favor of Nigeria. We have made a statement. For me, we have made a statement for all of Africa and all responsible teams, traveling to play games or play any sport anywhere, that they should be respected by their host federations or associations, or unions. They should be respected, they should be welcomed, they should be treated appropriately, and the game should be left on the pitch.
Dr. Olajire, I was going to ask you very quickly. We've responded to CAF. What was in our response to CAF? And then how long are we expecting a decision? Have they communicated to you? How long will it take for us to get a decision? Is it before the next FIFA window, when the World Nations Cup qualifiers will be concluded in November? How soon are you expecting a reply from CAF?
We don't know. We expect this matter to be dealt with swiftly. We filed our complaint yesterday morning, right there at the airport, when the president of Nigerian community in Eastern Libya, Mr. Maurice Romosele, came at the behest of Nigeria's ambassador to Libya, who himself and his embassy officials were denied, the approval to come and welcome the Nigerian delegation in Benghazi, because there's a different government in Tripoli and a different one in Benghazi. So Mr. Romosele, came with some snacks and drinks for the team to have some breakfast, and also brought a rat with which we were able to communicate. So that's how we were able to send a letter to CAF. Of course, all through the night, we were in touch with officials of CAF and briefing them on what was happening, and they also, were nonplussed as to the conduct of the. So our complaint is with them. They know, what the whole world knows what has happened. We expect a response, a positive decision from CAF, but we don't know when. And since with the way the calendar is very tight, but of course, there will always be a way if there is a decision to replay the match at a neutral venue, which is the minimum expectation of the Nigerian Football Federation.
All right. Quickly, Dr. Olajire, I wanted to ask you to respond to the videos that the Libyans have also, put out on social media, because they also said they suffered same fate when they came to Nigeria. What is your response to that? Because I'm sure that they will also be presenting that to CAF. Then number two, how delighted are you as the Director of Communications, the NFF itself, even the players, how happy were you with the support you got from Nigerians?
Most Nigerians.
A lot of Nigerians in the face of this ordeal.
Yeah, let me take the last one first. We're very, very delighted. We're very happy. The NFF is appreciative. The support of even the president of the country, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, welcoming the team, supporting the decision of the NFF and the team, to return to Nigeria. And that was, aptly demonstrated with the president of the Honorable Minister of Sport Development at the airport to welcome the team himself. And of course, the whole world, I'll say Nigerians, not only Nigerians, people all over the world, we saw what was on social media. Everybody, the former African players of the year, Adebayo, Obama, Obama, everyone supporting the Nigeria in this matter, because sports is not meant to be played this way. This gamesmanship has no way in sports. It's abominable, and everybody rose up, to condemn the action of the Libyans. So I'm very, very happy about that. Yeah, about going to the videos that the Libyans were throwing around. Of course, if you enter another person's, if you...
They are claiming it's tit for tat, that they are retaliating exactly the kind of mistreatment that they received from Nigeria.
I don't see any mistreatment. The first thing is when you are going to another person's yard, you must inform that person where you are going to arrive. The NFF informed the Libyan Football Federation where our aircraft was going to arrive. We got the right landing permit. Libya's delegation, the LFF, failed to communicate to the NFF on where their team was going to land until 2 hours to landing. Their team was 2 hours to landing in Port Harcourt, while we had made all arrangements to receive them in Uyo. They landed in Port Harcourt. We even moved mountains to get them the permits to get their charter company permits to fly from Port Harcourt to Uyo, but they refused to do that. Know that will be additional expenses, for the team.
So, to cut you short, sir. There's an allegation that they could not fly directly to Uyo, that they had to land in Port Harcourt first before they could go to Uyo. Is that true?
It is not true, because when they were going, we got them permits to fly directly from Uyo to Benghazi. So there is no truth to the fact that they cannot land in Uyo. The facility in Uyo, the Victor Atta International Airport, you cannot land there at night, but they were traveling during the day. They left Libya at 8 a.m., which was 7 a.m. in Nigeria. So they could easily have landed in Uyo, but they refused. Despite that, we got them travel permit to fly the aircraft from Port Harcourt to Uyo, but they, knowing that that would be additional expenses to them, they refused and said they were going to travel by road from Port Harcourt to Uyo.
Okay.
It was a daft decision, and we cancelled against it, but they went ahead. They said no, they wanted to travel by road. So we hired buses for them. They rejected those buses. They hired their own buses, which I was told they broke down somewhere in the middle of the road somewhere. That is not on us. That is not on us. We gave them security from Port Harcourt to Uyo. And so how can you say that you cannot land there? You can only land in Port Harcourt. You can land in Uyo, especially if you're not flying at night. So we got you landing permits to move from Port Harcourt to Uyo, but you refused to do that. You refused to use the vehicles that we got for you, and you were behaving like you know the country more than the Nigeria Football Federation.
Okay.
But we still got them security.
Yeah. Okay.
And they successfully moved from Port Harcourt to Uyo. But we ensured that when they were flying out, they traveled from Uyo straight to Benghazi. The same Benghazi that they said the Nigerian aircraft could not land. The same day, they were just 1 hour behind us on the way. They landed in Benghazi. Ghana delegation landed in Benghazi. The Sudanese delegation landed in Benghazi that same day.
Okay. Well, Dr. Demola Olajire, thank you so much for your time. And we welcome you back to Nigeria after your experience at the hand of Tunisians.
Happy survival.
At the hand of Libyans, I beg your pardon. We hope that CAF will do something pretty strong about this. And actually, personally, I'm hoping that Nigeria will go ahead and file a case at the International Criminal Court for false imprisonment and lawful detention, in my personal opinion. But thank you so much for joining us tonight on Game On. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.